Hi guys, John Picarello here, and today I want to ask you a question. Are you a visionary leader? And visionary leaders are much sought after. Visionary leaders see things before others. Visionary leaders are purpose-driven leaders. They have an agenda and they're highly intentional in keeping it. So if you're going to hitch a ride with visionary leaders, you're going to be really challenged in your thinking, challenged in your skill sets, because they're headed somewhere and they have momentum and they're focused, and they also like that with their teams. So the first thing is about being a visionary leader, and that is you need to understand purpose. And the power of vision lies in its purpose, that you become so purpose-driven because the vision owns you. And that's all you see. You see a better tomorrow. You see a better product. You see better teams. You see a better city. Whatever it is you are envisioning, it consumes your thoughts, and you actually begin to live in the tomorrow today because you're laying the groundwork for it. So are other people, where you're involved in, maybe thinking, well, it's 2021, but a highly visionary leader, well, yeah, they know it's 2021, but they might be living in 2025 or 2029, whatever. But why? Because they're always looking at the end. They see the end in view. They see the finish line. They live for that. They're running the race. They don't miss a step. They're highly intentional. So one of the big thing is that if you are a visionary leader, the biggest trait is you dream big. And sometimes it could be frightening in a team meeting. Say, hey, this is what we're going to do next year. This is what we're going to do in the next 3 months. And you come across with this idea and you set the bar so high. Why? Because you're always thinking of being better tomorrow, personally better tomorrow. Your team is better tomorrow than they are today. Your company is better tomorrow. You dream big. You look out at a city and you can see 1,000 ways that the city can be better. You look at all of the pieces to the puzzle and you get fixated on this one piece that can be a better fit. And this is the thing about a visionary leader. Some things, they're just dreamers. Oh, of course they're dreamers, but that if you're a dreamer and not a visionary, then that's a problem. Because dreamers just dream. But a dreamer who's a visionary starts sketching out how that dream becomes a reality. See, that's a visionary leader. So dream big. What do you want to do? Don't ever dream small. Dream big enough to have your children and grandchildren taking part in it. Dream big enough where you see 2 or 3 generations in your city involved in something you're building today. Think about it. You and I are involved with things today somebody was dreaming about a century ago. It could be anything. I remember doing an article about motion pictures and how 2 brothers from France, they were working in a photograph place that their father was doing, and they were developing the plates. This is back in 1870s, I believe it was. And they were thinking back then, and they were enamored with Thomas Edison and his creativity, and they took an idea from him. And they utilized methodologies, and they saw, wait a second, a photograph. We found out that if we can put them together one by one and then begin to photograph this, and they used something that Edison came up with, and they ended up perfecting motion for those plates, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of plates, and putting it together and realizing we not only can we produce it, we can begin to film this. And they perfected that in their day. Why? Well, because they were visionary leaders. And they didn't dream that what they did would end up with Hollywood. Think about Hollywood. Imagine if they never sold. What would have happened to their children, their grandchildren, their great-grandchildren? All would have been billionaires by now. They had no idea that their vision that everyone thought was ridiculous and stupid, and they're out of touch with reality. But the reality was they had $1 trillion idea. Maybe you have $1 trillion idea. If you do, think big. So be a dreamer. Secondly, work with teams, because a big thinker knows it takes a lot of people to develop a dream. So the two things you need to do as a visionary leader is, first, what is the vision? Write it down. Be as clear as possible. Think through it as often as possible. Talk it out with other people who enhance that idea. Don't be talking to people who aren't visionaries. You want to surround yourself with people who are thinking about tomorrow. They're thought leaders. And then writing that down, begin to sell your vision. Work on presenting it. Work on getting a buy-in. And then understanding what's it going to take to get that off the ground, and begin assembling your team. And you want a team of visionaries, each with differing gifts that make up the pieces of the puzzle to get your vision off the ground. So you have to work with teams, and in order to have to work with teams, you must be able to articulate your vision. And not only that, you must be able to sell the idea and show them the steps to take to get into it, and the steps how you're going to carry it out, and where you're going to go from year to year. So that's a visionary leader. You're thinking about tomorrow. Your mind and your ideas, your creativity is in tomorrow, but your competencies are solidly rooted in today, because you may have to create some things to get there. That's what Walt Disney did with Imagineering. They had to create things in order to get some of those rides going. The technology wasn't there, so they had a whole department. You talk about a visionary leader. They developed a whole department to create the things they needed to make those amusements or those rides work. That's rethinking and reimagining amusement. In order to do that, you have to be a visionary leader. So if you're a visionary leader, I want to encourage you, think big and train your teams to do the same. You won't be sorry. Talk to you soon.